guys, welcome to another episode of the Next Gen Podcast. We got a special one today. I got my boy here who I've been training for a few years now. 15-year vet playing overseas, my guy Evan Harris. Bro, appreciate you coming on, man.
Nate, happy to be here, brother. Thank you for the invite. Happy to be able to make it out.
Yeah,
Obviously, this is, I think, been a long time coming. I've been kind of following Next Gen from the beginning, right?
Yeah, before it was Next Gen.
With the screen printed T-shirts and all that. So I'm happy to be here and happy to have a good conversation.
No, for sure, man. No, I appreciate it. And like you were, like you said, man, you were around before this, this started, and we'll definitely get into that. But for the listeners who don't necessarily know who you are, just give us the spiel, man. How who are you? Where are you from? And how'd you get here?
For sure. Well, as you said, I'm Evan Harris.
Yeah.
LA born and raised, went to Harvard Westlake Middle School and high school. Went to 1 year prep school at the Hill School in a small city in Pennsylvania. I played 4 years at Harvard University. Then took off on a kind of whirlwind world tour, right? I played in Germany for 4 years, played in Japan for a year, in Norway for 3 years, and continuing my career in Canada right now. Luckily, I was fortunate enough to find a wife playing in Portugal, and she happens to be Canadian. So
dope.
Here I am playing in Canada. Have 2 kids now, so it's life has definitely been changing.
Yeah.
Even since we've met, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You've known me before I was married, before I had kids.
Yeah.
So that's even changed, but life changes, and fortunate to be here. Fortunate to still be playing basketball for a little bit.
No, for sure. And then from what I recall, your parents were both on the education side of things, right? Your parents are both teachers?
They were. They were both teachers. Obviously, they're retired now. They were teachers, and then my dad became a principal for 40 years, elementary school principal.
Yeah.
And my mother was the assistant superintendent for Santa Monica School District. So my dad was a principal in Santa Monica for 40 years. And my mom worked in the school district in Santa Monica. So I have Santa Monica ties. Never went to any of their schools.
Yeah.
Santa Monica. It wasn't due to lack of quality or anything like that. It was actually more so, you don't want to be that kid in second grade and all the other kids are, oh, that's Mr. Harris's son.
Right.
That's true. They wanted me to have an identity. So
I actually had that growing up. That's funny. Mine was flipped. My mom was a Hebrew teacher, so obviously she took me to the classes that she was conducting, and I was like, I had to be the golden boy, and everyone knew I was, that was my mom and I was her son, and I had to always lead by example. I had to, come early, set up whatever it was, and so
that's a lot of pressure.
It was.
Especially my dad was a principal at an elementary school. You can't put a kindergarten through 5th grade kid through that. In high school is different, but I was a little kid, so I didn't go to their schools. Yeah,
that's funny. What do you think? Just because we're talking about it now, what do you think? What kind of impact did they have on you as a professional and what you do, and also as a father now?
Oh, good one. Professional, I think they instilled that work ethic in me. I can remember growing up, my dad would take me home, pick me up from school, and then he would go work out. He'd go train, and obviously he didn't train for anything. He just trained for health. Yeah. And I think that kind of laid the foundation for who I am today. You know me. You always tell me, hey, dial back. Yeah. Hey, take a day off. Are you okay? Do you need a deload week? No, I'm good. Right? So I think that laid that foundation, which has translated into my kind of professional career. And then as a father, they were always both there. They never missed a game, never missed a
wow.
I played nerd alert or nerdy fact about me, but I played violin growing up, violin and string bass, and they never missed a practice or a recital or a concert.
Wow.
So they were always there. They always made time, and I try to do the same with my kids. My kids are 1 and 3, so they don't have the extracurricular load that I did. But at the same time, I'm catching myself now, I'm watching the Laker game, and my son's like, "Hey, look at this," and I'm more inclined to go do and play with my son than watch that game because those moments are meaningful. And I saw that kind of sacrifice with my parents where they, I'm sure they didn't want to go watch their 4th basketball game of a weekend in AAU, but they did it, and it meant a lot to me. So I'm trying to make that same kind of sacrifice and transition for my kids.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And I see that. I feel like every time I text you or call you, you're always with your kids, and you're always making sure you're with them. Obviously, as you know, better than me. You're on the road playing overseas. You know what I'm saying? And you know a lot of other players who have families, and they miss a lot of things. So I'm sure like you've seen it, and you acknowledge it, and you do. I know that you do your best to be there for your kids.
I definitely do, and it's not just my kids; it's actually my wife as well. You know,
they
don't really get as much praise through it all, as they should.
Right.
And I mean spouses and significant others of players who are playing professionally. It's like I'm gone all the time during the season.
Right.
So it's like when I'm not in season and I have control over my time, I can choose to wake up at 5 a.m. and get my runs out or my lift out before they get up, so then I can, she can take more of a break.
Right.
Because I get that break when I need it during those months of the season. So it's a little bit of giving back as well.
Yeah,
I think,
absolutely.
To make it a bit more equitable.
Absolutely. No, that's well said for sure. So growing up, who was the first person to put a ball in your hand?
I think I just gravitated towards it. I played a bunch of different sports. I played soccer. I played baseball. I didn't play football. I was too skinny. We'll get into that later on. But, I didn't play football, but I just kept growing. And my mom always loved basketball growing up. She didn't play. My dad ran track.
Oh wow.
But my mom loved basketball, and they supported me in whatever. And I think as I grew, I was already the tallest in my class, so it's like, hey, try this basketball thing, and then I fell in love with it. I remember watching. It's still Channel 9, but Channel 9 with the old Lakers with Eddie Jones and Nick Van Exel. Like those were the games. I'd sit there and I remember distinctly like sitting right in front of the TV like this far, just watching games and really being in tune with it. And then from there, my love for the sport just grew, and luckily my dedication stayed in line with my love. Yeah. And then it continued to prosper, and here I am today.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's funny because I feel like as you were saying that, I felt the same exact way. My mom loved the Lakers growing up, or I don't even know when she first started watching basketball, but I just remember watching basketball because of her. And same. I was glued to the TV. Yeah. I grew up on Kobe and Shaq. And I remember I don't know if I remember that team. I remember that was right before Shaq came along, and then when Shaq came along, and then before Kobe came along.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Growing up during that time was watching basketball was the best.
That was the time to be in. I was lucky that when I was in high school, the Lakers were I graduated high school in 2004. Yeah. So it's that 2000, 2001 Lakers. Yeah. I was in high school playing high school basketball and really understanding the game. So I was really actually watching it and really watching greatness. With Kobe and Shaq. Yeah. Those things those were huge, and those are memories I'll always cherish. I'll never forget.
Yeah, same for sure. Speaking of high school, what was high school like in LA? While you were playing?
It was good. We had really good players. I was fortunate to be on a really good high school team. So we were, sponsored by Adidas. I played for an Adidas AAU team, so one of the best teams I think in the area, and we had a lot of success. There's a lot of it's a little bit different now. When I'm watching, obviously Harvard Westlake's doing very well right now as well. Still. But the scope and the landscape of high school basketball has changed. Back then, you were just locked in to your division based on your school size. Right. So we were in Division III. That was what we were in. No matter, now it's the top teams, no matter what, you're in what they call the open division. Right. And then they take kind of past your success, and if you're not in open division, you're in Division I. Right. Back then, Division I was just big schools. So it had nothing to do with success. And I remember there's a school, Price, that won Division V 8 years in a row because they had 40 kids. But they were in Division V with all these other tiny schools, right? And now that can't happen, which is good. Yeah. But back then we were in Division III. We had a rivalry, shall you say, with Compton Centennial and Aaron Aflalo. So we played them 3 years in a row in the in our Division III sectional final. Yeah. Lucky enough to win all three, so I have 3 CIF championships. But it's just so different now. With the creation of the open division and the way that teams are kind of moved around based on success, that you don't have those kind of set rivalries as much. You still do, but like we knew going into the year who was in Division III,
right?
Because the school size was that.
Yeah.
So it's like we knew exactly who we were gonna see in the playoffs.
Right.
It was always Compton Centennial.
Yeah, I think for us it was the same way. It was like I went to Pally, so we always played Fairfax, Westchester, Uni, Hamilton, Venice, and I'm missing maybe one or two, but it was like those same teams all the time.
They've changed it in a good way. I really like it. It's exciting to watch, but it was just different. High school basketball was a lot of fun back then. Sneaker camps really ran everything.
Yeah.
The Adidas ABCD camp.
Right.
I don't know if they still have that now, but it's like Adidas ABCD. Had the big time in Las Vegas. The big AAU tournament at the end of the summer. And then the team I played for, the Pumps, I played for Pump and Run, so they're still actually around, which is crazy.
That's cool.
But they held their own tournament at LMU. It's called the Best of the Summer. It was like right after the big time. There was like 4 days off, and then we'd come out here.
Damn.
And it was a lot of fun. Play with a lot of guys, and against a lot of guys that played in the league for a while. LA was a good place back then.
Yeah.
It still is now.
Still is, yeah.
But yeah, we have a lot of talent here.
Yeah, and now it's different. So I'll ask you this: who were like the big names in high school basketball when you were playing, and how did you even like hear about them if you did?
When I was playing my year, Harvard Westlake's obviously in the Valley.
Yeah.
So it was Jordan Farmar, Nick Young.
Right. Where did Nick Young play?
Nick Young played at Cleveland. Jordan.
Oh, okay.
Jordan played at Taft.
Yeah, Taft.
So it was Jordan and Nick, and then Gabe Pruitt played at USC, played for the Celtics, got a ring.
Oh, okay.
And then LaFlalo played at UCLA, obviously. Lorenzo Mata played at UCLA as well, big guy. Those were the guys. We had a guy on our team, Bryce Taylor, who had an amazing Euro career. Just retired 2 years ago or last year. He's doing great. I think he's actually coaching with the Pacers now.
Whoa, really?
So yeah, we had a very talented team as well. We had I played Division I, Bryce played Division I. Another kid, Zach Woolridge, played Division I. All in our year. So we had my graduating class. We had 3 D1 players, and then we had some guys behind us, younger than us, that were also super good. So
that's dope.
We had probably on our team 6 or 7 D1 guys, and that was rare for back then. There wasn't like a lot of recruiting. We all actually just showed up at Harvard Westlake in 7th grade.
Wow. So
there wasn't like, hey, like this team's good, I'm gonna go here. Like me, Bryce, and Zach played together for 6 years.
Wow.
And we grew together from 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th, 11th, 12th.
Damn.
So it was
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was. I don't know how it all worked out like that. Because I wasn't even supposed to go to Harvard Westlake. My 6th grade teacher was like, "Oh, like Evan should apply. He's really smart." And that was it. I was going to go to Lincoln Middle School in Santa Monica. I was about to just go. My parents were going to just take me through the Santa Monica route, and my elementary school teacher was like, "Oh, like I didn't get any, independent school applications," and my parents were like, "Nah, like he's going here," and they're like, my teacher was like, "No, like he should try." So I applied to Windward and Harvard Westlake, got into both, and decided to go to Harvard Westlake, and it did change my life for sure, and set me on this path.
Yeah, no, for sure. They're definitely, Harvard Westlake is. I mean, now I'm sure it was similar before, but now like every kid that I train, all the parents that I know that have kids that go to Harvard Westlake, whether they're hoopers or otherwise, there's like they hold their kids to like a super high standard. Sometimes it's overwhelming for some kids, is what I hear, but like everything is like academics is top tier.
Absolutely.
Athletics is top tier. Everything they do is fantastic. Okay, so was like obviously there was no social media back then. So were you hearing of people like Jordan Farmar or Nick Young or whoever it was like in the newspaper, or was it
we had these like little magazines. It was like high school basketball recruiting magazines.
Damn.
And they came out with like the rankings, Southern California
That's cool.
rankings. Back then, this is crazy. Back then, there's this website. I don't know if the website is still there.
Wow.
But it's called SoCalHoops.com.
Okay.
And it was like the Bible for no, seriously, it was the Bible for LA basketball. And actually, the guy, David Gale, now an assistant coach at Vanderbilt.
Oh, you know David?
David Gale. His dad started the website.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to David Gale. That's crazy.
Jerry Gale, Esquire, started the website.
Wow.
David Gale went to Buckley and played basketball.
Wow.
Point guard. Now he's assistant at Vanderbilt, but his dad started this website. And when I tell you this website was like the end all be all. Like there was a message board and a form, and like they'd post like, I don't know who was writing it, but it was really good. Like every week they'd post like updated, because we knew who was in the divisions, right?
Yeah. So
like Division 3 rankings, Division 2 rankings, Division 1 rankings. Like they'd rank all of the schools. They had league previews for every league. So they like Harvard Westlake was in the Mission League, so they previewed the entire league. They'd give a detailed breakdown of every team. It was done really well.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know if it's still there. Like,
yeah.
But I'm telling you,
that's crazy.
This website was like, it was gold for LA basketball.
Wow, that's cool. I mean, you wonder like I said before, social media. Like now, I know one of my friends started a social media account to highlight kids in LA.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? And now he started during the pandemic, but he's doing such a great job. And like he'll show up to, you know, a tournament or whatever game, and he'll have like, I don't know, like call it 2 or 3 photographers or videographers. They're all capturing content, and then he'll, you know, post a highlight tape of whoever the kid is, and, you know, kind of give a breakdown of what they did. And now, you know, and obviously every kid wants to be highlighted.
For sure.
Everybody wants their own reel. Everybody wants to post, you know, high quality photos and videos on social media. So it's cool to see, you know, and so like the kids are getting recognition that way. Cool. So I just wondered what it was like, back then on the high level.
Yeah, there was no like, obviously no like quick Instagram highlights or anything.
No.
Like that.
It was either like, it had to be like magazine, newspaper.
Exactly. Or I'm telling you, I do not know how one person did this website. But like, he knew like if somebody transferred.
He must have had a team.
It had to have.
Yeah.
But like, it was done really well, and I remember that to this day. Like, we'd look at the rankings, or like look to see who was there.
Yeah. Or
if you get like a recap of a random showcase game.
Yeah.
Like, it was done really well.
That's amazing. That's dope. Kind of the same line. Like, who did you? Whether it was like pros that you looked up to, or it was like colleagues, like kids of the same age as you. Who'd you look up to while you were playing
in high school?
In high school and beyond.
Yeah, obviously being from LA, big Kobe guy.
Yeah,
a huge Kobe guy. I didn't really model my game after anybody. You know, like a lot of guys like, oh, like I took some from this guy. I took some. I mean, obviously for me, at my age now, I'm not the most athletic, but I was more athletic at a younger age. But I was never like Westbrook jumping out of the gym.
Yeah.
So like a fundamental guy like Tim Duncan was good to watch film wise. Like once I got to college, I remember my assistant coach gave me a tape of NBA bigs, and it was a lot of Rasheed Wallace and it's funny that I said tape because it was actually, I thought it's a VHS tape. He gave me a VHS tape to study, and it was a lot of Rasheed Wallace and a lot of Tim Duncan. So those are guys that I kind of could look up to skill wise.
Yeah.
But when it came to like work ethic, it was all Kobe. And
yeah.
As I matured in my career, I started reading, and YouTube got popular.
Yeah.
I started watching a lot of Floyd Mayweather stuff, actually.
Oh, wow.
Big guy. So, yeah, those two, when it comes to the work side of things, when it comes to how you approach your craft, I'd say Kobe and Floyd are two that I, to this day, kind of take from in terms of inspiration to continue pushing with your craft and towards greatness.
Yeah. That's dope. And then when you were playing in college or even pro, was it pretty much more? Was it more of the same, or was there someone else like like either someone that you played against or a team that you had that helped your game, or even like I guess even like a player development coach that showed you?
Yeah, man. Coach Will Wade, really took me under his wing. I'll never forget. So we had a staff change at Harvard after my second year.
Okay.
So our original coach, the coach who recruited me, got let go.
Oh,
and then they brought in Coach Amaker, who's actually still there now.
Wow.
Coach Amaker played at Duke, won a national championship, was the head coach at Michigan before Harvard, and then came to Harvard. So he had a big time background coming into it, and he brought with him. He was a young guy, Coach Will Wade, who was an assistant at Clemson before that. So like these guys had big time college experience. To a kid from Harvard, right?
For sure.
Clemson, Duke, and Michigan, like you guys know
it's pretty good.
You guys know your stuff, right?
Yeah.
So Coach Wade pushed me a lot on the court, pushed me a lot off the court, and he's one that kind of I can look back and say had an instrumental part in kind of my progression to a pro.
Yeah.
Back then I was playing just to play, right? Like I didn't go to Harvard saying, hey, like I wanna play pro. That's not why I went to Harvard, right?
Yeah.
But that experience with Coach Wade really helped me a ton. And then, to be honest, my strength and conditioning coach helped a ton. But that was more the other side of me, right? The weight side and that side that I think gravitate towards more now than I did back then. But those two guys were instrumental. The weight guy, I don't know if we're talking about it later, but the strength and conditioning coach really was instrumental in changing everything.
I'll speak on it for sure.
When I got to college, I'm 6'9", 230 now. I got to college, I was 6'8", 185.
Damn.
Soaking wet, 6'8", 185. And I had no clue, right? Like I was athletic, I could jump, I could block shots, I could rebound, I have long arms, and that stuff, translated great in high school. Because you're athletic, you can block shots, you can grab a rebound over here, but no one was knocking me off my spot because I was playing against kids.
Right.
You play against men, it's a different story, right?
Yeah.
And so, my strength and conditioning coach, Craig Fitzgerald, put the barbell in my hand and kind of, got I think he sparked the beast, sparked the interest I have in it. That's to this day. You know about it. Like I'm telling you about exercises. Let's take a look at this.
I'm getting DMs about about this exercise, that program, this exercise, and I love to see it. I love the enthusiasm. It was
really Coach
great.
Fitz. He's now actually the head strength coach from the New York Giants. So he was a football guy.
Nice.
And for a guy like me, all I needed to do, I never had lifted before.
Yeah.
And I got there and seeing his enthusiasm and seeing what he poured into his players. Like this guy was at the facility. It's more common now. This guy was at the facility at 4 in the morning lifting. He was lifting at 4 in the morning, right? And to a kid who doesn't know that, you're like, what are you doing? Like, like I'd go in for a 6 a.m. workout and he was already, lifted, showered, and ready to train athletes at 6. And seeing his dedication and then, actually connecting with him on a personal level changed my life, changed the trajectory of my life, changed, I'd say if now basketball is my passion, definitely fitness is right behind it in terms of, what I can do after basketball. That's something I'm going to continue doing. I was talking to my wife the other day because we're finalizing our house here in L.A., and we're like, okay, when are we going to start putting together our home gym? Because that's something that I'm not going to stop training just because I stopped playing.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't train. I do train to play right now. I'm not it's October 28th right now, and I'm not preparing for my Squattober PR. Everyone else, right? I am still smart about my training right now, but I do have an interest in that beyond.
For sure. The fact that you even know what Squattober is,
You know about me and Sorenex, man. I'm Sorenex everything and pricing out the rack I'm gonna get. I'm big into the culture and big into what the physical benefits and the mental, emotional health benefits of exercise and strength training specifically.
Yeah. No, absolutely. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to that for sure. But back to hoops. So going back to Harvard, you play 4 years, right? And then tell me, obviously you played overseas, but what was that? What happened in between?
Sure. This is a crazy story. So we had a guy ahead of me at Harvard. He was 2 years ahead of me, Brian Cusworth. He's now an orthopedic surgeon.
Wow.
Back then, he was a 7-foot center.
Whoa.
Yeah.
There's a 7-foot orthopedic surgeon?
Yeah. Back then, he was a 7-foot center. Right? And he was 2 years ahead of me, and I followed him after Harvard. So he left Harvard, and then he went and played in Estonia. Then he went and played in like Latvia. So he went and played after. And so when my season ended, my senior season, he was the first person I reached out to. I was like, hey, like, what did you do? Like, help me. I didn't know anybody, right? Like now it's easier to connect with people on Instagram or on Facebook. Like back then there was no Instagram, and I'm pretty sure Facebook was still like when you needed a college address. Like back when Facebook started, you couldn't sign up without a .edu extension at the end of a...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like they opened it up to everyone, I want to say 2010, something like that.
Something like that.
But like before that, Facebook was around since 2005. I was excited to get my Harvard address because I was like, yo, I'm going to sign up for Facebook now. But like...
Damn, I didn't even know. I was a MySpace. Back then, before 2010 for sure. I don't know what year. But like definitely MySpace was the thing. But
anyway, so yeah, I reached out to him. I was like, hey, like what did you do to get yourself in that position? He's like, hey man, my agent put me in touch with this guy Joe Abunassar.
Oh shit.
And so he was like, here's Joe's email. So I emailed Joe. I was like, hey Joe, like my name's Evan Harris. Here's my background, here are my highlights. I didn't know Joe, right?
Yeah.
Like,
that's crazy.
Here are my highlights. Like, can I come train?
Yeah.
Sure. And it turns out, as I got to get to know Joe.
Here or in Vegas?
In Vegas.
Okay.
As I got to get to know Joe, Joe's son went to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So we knew a lot of common people. Drew, the other guy who works with Joe.
Yeah.
Played at Crespi. I played against him.
Wow.
So we had these things in common that I didn't know about. So that, got me into Impact. But at the time, I just emailed Joe. He was like, yeah, come out and train. We'll see what happens. So I did that. I found a few, showcases, had an agent, and then my agent just started sending film out. And this team in Romania said, yeah, sure, we'd love to have you. Went out to Romania. I'll never forget, it was like the end of July. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was all lost, man. Like I took traveler's checks. Yeah, I was like, oh, what if they have, they don't take American dollars? No problem. Here's some traveler's checks.
Yeah.
I took traveler's checks. I took my Xbox 360, and I'll never forget. I plugged it into the wall and just started smoking. And I didn't know. I had the little just adapter converter.
Yeah.
I didn't know you needed a step down converter. Now they fixed it. Right? Yeah. Now they have they sell the same version that works in both voltages.
Yeah.
Back then they had an American Xbox and a European Xbox. And I plugged my American Xbox in the wall. And it just.
Oh no, that must have been so bad.
I was a young pro.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm getting paid. I'll just buy a new one, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that. So yeah, I ended up in Romania. Crazy story about Romania is they signed 3 Americans.
Okay.
We got there. We had like a month and a half of training camp. It was nuts.
Damn.
It was so long. And we got to the end of the training camp. They told one American, you're good.
Oh, no.
They told me, you're good, but we're going to pay you like half of what you signed for. I told the other American, your flight's tomorrow. So I'm like, well, I'm happy I'm not that guy. So I just took the money and in hindsight, I should have been like, well, no, my contract says this.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you...
It's Eastern Europe. What are you going to do? Fight, take them to court?
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough. I stayed there through December. And then I moved to a team in Germany that was a little bit more stable in January. And yeah, then from there my career took off. I played really well in Germany that year. From there it just kind of went place to place.
Yeah. I remember you mentioning, this is a while ago, you mentioning you loved playing in Norway because you felt like they really took care of the players, something like that?
I love Norway. My son was born in Norway.
Okay.
I love Norway because Norway is the easiest to live.
Got it.
Right? When you have a wife and a child, it was the easiest to to deal with on that side of things.
Got it.
Basketball wise, it's a developing country. It's not the best.
Yeah.
But in terms of how I got treated, they treated me great. I have lifelong friends from there, but I also have, I'd say the teams I've played on, actually my team in Canada treats us amazing, but it's also, I have a familiarity with the area.
Yeah.
And I'm a permanent resident, so I don't have to worry about a lot of the visa issues that Americans do when they play there. But my teams in Germany took really good care of us. Team car, everyone had like a 3-bedroom apartment to themselves. So it was very, very professional from that standpoint. It's kind of weird driving. You just land and they're like, "Here's your car."
Yeah.
But I mean, that's how it is in Europe, and I was very fortunate to be able to play on teams like that.
Yeah, that's great. Which, either from like a country lifestyle perspective or basketball perspective, which stop was your favorite?
Oh, I love so many different ones for different reasons, right? Like I said, like having your first child born and then going to practice 2 days later is special in one way.
Yeah.
When we were in Germany, we got very close. My wife and I got very close to a German family. They'd have us over for dinner every Sunday afternoon. I mean, it's one of those things where dinner starts at 2. So like those, like those long family meals. So we didn't feel isolated. We're still,
that's cool.
Their daughters came to our wedding in Canada. Very, very close with them. And that was a highlight.
Yeah.
Obviously playing in Canada right now, the team being an hour and a half from our house in Canada is a highlight because I'm gone on a road trip. My wife can just go back to our house.
Yeah.
Like her family's there. So it's like that's a highlight as well. So for different reasons, different stops all have amazing memories and things that I'll cherish.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. What do you think of in terms of, I've never been to, I don't think I've been to any of those countries. Food-wise, who's got the best food?
Germany, I'd say.
Really?
German food was really good.
Really?
It was a nice mix of, but I'm a big red meat guy.
Yeah.
It was really good. Japan was intimidating food-wise at first, but
why?
It was difficult. I remember we had a Denny's, like right by our house.
In Japan. Wow.
The Denny's, and that was the only place that had like breakfast. They're not a big breakfast place, right?
Right. So
I went to Denny's like every morning. It would be like pancakes, eggs, rice, and I'd be like, "Here's your salad." Like, why are you giving me salad at breakfast? So like little things like that, like cultural things in Japan were a little bit tough.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing place. Food wise, that was kind of the most difficult. But I'd say Germany. I'm trying to think back.
When I think of German food, I think of like bread, sausage,
Schnitzel.
Okay.
Schnitzel. The thing I liked about Germany was actually similar to, I'm sure it's like this everywhere, but it was most similar to America in that we had a lot of different cuisines in one place.
Yeah. Okay.
So like, there's an Austrian restaurant. They had really good steak. There was it wasn't as homogenous as other places.
Cool.
Were.
It was like a melting pot-ish.
Yeah. Like I played in France in a smaller city, and it was difficult to find non-French cuisine.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't Paris. Like if I was in a big city, that's one thing.
Okay.
Like most of the teams that, it's changing a little bit now, but when I was playing, most of the teams that were the most successful weren't in the big cities. They weren't in Berlin. Now Berlin and Munich are really good at basketball.
Yeah.
But like it kind of has shifted a little bit.
Got it.
And especially for a mid-market team, like having the support of a whole town is helpful. But like it's kind of like the Lakers and Clippers are bad examples here in LA. It's like LMU, right?
Okay.
Like, it's hard to draw at LMU because there's so many other things to do.
Right.
Right? But if LMU was in a smaller city in California and that was the only thing, then they would have bigger crowds.
Got it.
And it's nothing against the product that they put on the floor. It's
just so much stuff.
There's so many other things to do on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
What would entice you to go to a Loyola Marymount basketball game?
Right.
And so it's, like I said, it's nothing against LMU. I've
Yeah.
never been, but like just a small, like UCLA has tradition. Like those are different.
Yeah.
But like smaller things, even though it's Division I,
right,
are harder to draw because there's too much going on.
Yeah, I feel that. Okay, fair enough. We're gonna take a step back. Going back to Impact. Shout out to Joe. We met at Impact.
Yeah.
I actually don't. I'll be honest. I don't remember the moment we met. It must have been like, and you could correct me if you remember, but it must have been like I was in the weight room with Tyler, and you were working with Tyler. Do you remember?
Yeah, that's all I can. It had to be in the weight room.
Yeah.
I think I remember you being in the weight room. We just started talking. You're like, oh, from LA, and I was like, oh, me too.
Yeah.
And we just hit it off then, but it had to have been weight room related for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So, obviously, Impact is known for having great off seasons, especially back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got to meet some legends like KG. Working with KG was crazy.
Yes.
Man, I'll never. He's actually like that. Like.
Yep. I've heard him. Like,
yeah.
I've been in the gym and heard him.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. You see it, but you
hear it. And he's so, I don't know what the word is, but he's so. If he steps in the gym, you know it. Everyone stops and looks, and like you said, you hear him. But anyways, they're known for their runs. Like they got Boogie, they got Chauncey Billups and Rasheed Wallace, and the list goes on and on. You got any stories? I'm sure you ran obviously in the runs.
Yeah, man.
You got any stories? Highlights off season?
Highlights.
Or things that stuck out. Like, damn, that was really cool.
Besides, I don't know if you'll ever watch this. Besides giving Patrick O'Brien buckets left, right, and center. Shout out, Pat. Yeah, I'm tagging you, Pat. Biggest highlight, I'd say, honestly, was the whole summer. I can't remember what year it was. I think 2019. Kyle Lowry came in to Impact with a chip on his shoulder. He was still in Toronto, but he had a chip on his shoulder, and he worked at an unbelievable rate every morning. And I got to see it, and then he was on my team a lot. Like back then, we'd keep a team to the next day. They keep winning, so we had our 5, and Kyle and I and Drew and Kyle's guys would run in the mornings. There's a mountain, not a mountain. It's kind of like a sand dune hill, but it's not the deep sand, but it's still an outdoor hill in Vegas, and we run it every Wednesday at like 6:30. And me, Kyle, Lance was there, Lance Stevenson, C.J. Watson, and Drew would run this hill every week for the entire summer. And then we'd go get shots up, come back, and then seeing that and seeing how he worked that year inspired me in a different way to keep working myself. And that's another thing I was talking about, Floyd and Kobe, but seeing how Kyle, to this day, right, he's in year 17,
yeah,
or year 18, to this day approaches the game. It was a highlight for me because I was just a kid from Harvard.
Yeah,
right? Like I didn't, for someone to be like, hey, like Evan, get in the shooting drill. Evan, we're running it this time, and that pushed me.
Right,
like that was my game day. Like, like we're running in the morning. I got to get a little extra sleep. I got to make sure my nutrition's on point.
Right.
Seeing that, and then countless stories with our guy KO as well. Man, all those guys.
You heard? Damn, KO.
All those guys are like. I have very fond memories of being out there, and there's nothing that sticks out in terms of on the court besides killing Pat. But besides that, no, there's nothing that's like, that was my moment. Because to me, towards the end, before COVID, I was going there for like 3 months, so it wasn't like I was just there.
Yeah.
Some people go. I don't know if you explain to the listeners like how Impact is structured.
Yeah.
But like some people go there for like 2 weeks. Some people go 3 weeks.
Right.
I moved to Vegas. Like I'd come back after my season ended to LA for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Then I would just go to Vegas, and I would live there for the entire summer until it was time to go. Sign my contract. Every time I'd sign my contract in Vegas.
Yeah.
And then they'd give me my flight. I'd come back to LA like 4 or 5 days before my flight, spend some time with my family, and then take off. So I fully immersed myself.
For sure.
I wasn't like because of that, it seemed more like just training than it was like, oh, this is my highlight of being in this run.
Right.
Because it was an everyday stacking good days
kind
of thing.
No, of course. Do you have like a favorite matchup?
Besides Pat?
Like, you ever get, I don't know who would have pulled up in 18 or 19. Like
everybody was there, man. DeMarcus was there. Kyle was there. Kyle over there. Pat was still playing. CJ, Tremel Darden. Shout out to Tremel, man. He's 40 now, 40 or 41.
Wow. And
he's still at it. He's one of the, I always joked around, like, I'm trying to get his body fat. It was like 2%. You remember Tremel?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, when we're done, I'm gonna pull up my phone and show you. It's like, it's silly. Like,
damn.
And back then he was, over 35.
Damn.
And I was 30. So like, back then he was really like that. Like, takes care of his body. We'd finish runs. He'd stay for like 15 minutes and just stretch. Like, so he gets it. So those are the guys that stick out most, because those are the guys that fully immersed ourselves. We were there together for entire summers for 10 years.
Wow.
Right? Like, people would come and go. They'd pop in for, like I said, a month, 3 weeks, and go somewhere else. These guys, like, moved out there. And that was that. We were there for that.
For sure. He locked in. Yeah. That's dope. With that being said, like, and I'll say this for sure, is like, you're going into year 15. Like, obviously witnessing your longevity has been a privilege for me. You, like you mentioned earlier, like, I'm happy this is the case. I have to be the coach that kind of has to pull back, because I know that you're always willing to do more. I don't ever need to push you. I don't ever need to motivate you. Like, you got that down, and for me that's a blessing, because now I get to just watch you get better, and I can just point you in the right direction, and you got it. You're fully autonomous and you're fully capable, and like I said, it's a privilege for me. So, anyways, you're going into year 15. Like, what would you attribute your longevity to?
That's a great question. I just think dedication, hard work. I'm blessed to be here, so there's that side of it, but just dedication, hard work, and I know this is cliche, keeping the main thing. Like, I've never been one of those guys. I don't drink. I haven't had alcohol in almost 10 years now.
Whoa.
I don't smoke. I've never smoked in my life. I always joke around with my wife, like, my only vices are shoes. Like, I spend too much money on shoes. I'll be the first person to say that, but like, I don't really do anything else that's like detrimental. So like, and I've bought in fully, almost, again, ask my wife, like, to the detriment. Like, I'll be like, oh, it's time to go to sleep. Like, I count hours of sleep.
Yeah.
I count meals. I need to eat at a certain time.
Yeah.
I need to, like, so I think it's just that, like, I've fully invested in the training side of things.
Yeah.
I think some people, basketball players, everyone, some people look at what you do in a weight room or what you do on a treadmill as secondary, and a far down secondary. It is secondary, right? We're not professional lifters, we're professional basketball players. So it is secondary, but it does have a lot of value.
Of course.
If not to, like, it's not a bench press competition.
Yeah.
I remember 2 years ago, right? You'd be like, oh, Evan, stop. Like, you don't need to squat more than 405 anymore.
Right.
Like, I get that now. And so it's not a competition, but at the same time, like, the strength it's built has to have built in my tendons and my joints.
Right.
Has to have played a role in this.
Right.
And for me, I just feel better when I do work out, when I do train.
Right.
I maybe it's my degree's in psychology, so maybe it's, body dysmorphia. But, like, I'm like, if I don't lift for 3 days, I'm like, yo, like, I can't go play right now.
Yeah.
I'll get pushed around. I don't think that's the case. Scientifically, like, my brain is like, well, no, you're not going to lose that much functional strength in 3 days of non-movement. But and the other part of my brain is like, yeah, like, you got to go work out.
Yeah.
Or else, like, you get elbowed and go flying. Like, I know it's not true, but that in my head. So it's like reprogramming yourself to realize that there is a lot of benefit to it. I think has been helpful. And I think for me, it was just seeing the results. Like, in between my freshman and sophomore year of college. I didn't like my freshman year. I didn't play. I was that guy who had to lift before games.
Right.
Like I was a lot of freshmen do. Yeah. That's okay.
It was all development.
Yeah. It was a year of development, and that's a good way to put it. And that summer, in between freshman and sophomore year, I was really, really fortunate to get in workouts here in Santa Monica at the Boys and Girls Club. On Lincoln.
Yeah.
And it was me, Tyson Chandler, and Lamar Odom.
Whoa.
That's how old this is, right? This is 2006. 2006. Me, Tyson Chandler, Lamar Odom, and Jerry DiGregorio was the guy's name who was putting us through these basketball workouts.
Okay.
And I just saw how those guys worked back then. And then I saw the change I needed to make in my body. And then I got with Coach Fitz at Harvard. And the rest is history. Like, I started putting on the weight. I started, like, getting to it. And I was kind of thinking about this conversation we were going to have this morning. And I was like, I gotta think about Coach Fitz, right? Like,
yeah.
And I'll never forget my sophomore year after we changed coaches. He gave everybody, like back then, like now I'm sure it's emailed, but like back then we had a spiral bound notebook of our summer plan.
Oh, okay.
And it was the same for everybody. Obviously we had different weights, different percentages.
Yeah.
Like our maxes were in there, but everyone had the same binder. And in that binder, he wrote down one thing for everybody to get better at over the summer.
Oh, nice.
And his exact words were, Evan is a great iron worker, but he needs to focus more on like skill development and like cardio. I turned into like lifting and nothing else.
Yeah.
And so after that, man, Coach Fitz really put me on the right direction and got me right. Got me right mentally. And then all the physical came with it as well.
Amazing. That's great, man. Wait, go back, because you said Tyson Chandler and Lamar Odom like it was nothing. So how'd you get linked up with those two?
It's crazy. I knew the guy who worked at the Boys and Girls Club, and he's like, hey, like these guys are working out. And then I talked to Jerry, Coach Jerry D, and he was Lamar's like college assistant coach, I think, at Rhode Island.
Okay.
A New York guy.
That's right, New York. Yeah.
And just, he was like, yeah, we're training at this time. Come through. Start working out.
Okay.
Started working out, yeah. Tyson needed somebody to kind of be in the workout with him.
Yeah, needed a big body.
Yeah, I wasn't big, but I was a body. Right? Like, this guy's 7'1".
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
So I didn't work out with Lamar as much. He was more of a, he was more of a guard.
Yeah. Big guard for sure.
Yeah. But me and Tyson got some good workouts in, man, at that Boys and Girls Club. It's crazy. It's a tiny gym. It's Boys and Girls. It's like an elementary school gym.
Yeah.
It's tiny. Well, but it was skill development, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I needed. I didn't need a giant place to go corner to corner or anything like that. We're working in the paint.
Yeah.
So I remember we train out there. Some days I go to Santa Monica Stairs after that, hit some pull-ups on the telephone pole out there. I was out there like 2-3 times a week. Yeah, it was a good summer. I came back and I'll never forget. I walked into the office, and Coach Fitz was like, "What'd you do?" Like he looked at me because like I did the program, like I'd go to the like a commercial gym and do the program.
Yeah. But
then I did so much extra stuff.
Yeah.
Like I probably put on like 15 pounds.
Yeah. Damn.
And like a good 15 pounds.
Yeah.
I was eating like crazy. Actually, before I came here today, I had the same thing I had for lunch back then, man. California Chicken Cafe.
Oh, nice.
I do a half chicken with broccoli chicken pasta. And then the chicken pasta.
Fire.
So I would smash that after every workout, and I had that today actually.
Damn.
It's funny.
CCC is so good.
Yeah, that was my spot.
Damn, I didn't even know when it started, but I didn't even know. I was first introduced to CCC in college when I was in college. Oh, so nice. I was late to the game.
No, this was 2000. This was the summer of 2006.
Damn, they've been around.
I remember it distinctly. Like, I had no other responsibilities as a college kid.
Yeah. So
I would do that, go home, eat, and just fall asleep, nap, and wake up like in an hour. And I'll never forget, like, that was the first time I started really feeling like muscle soreness too.
Really?
I was like, man, like I did a lot of pull-ups today.
Oh my leg!
I was out there like it was crazy. You must have seen the 6'9" guy like hitting pull-ups on a telephone pole. Like, you've been there.
Yeah, everyone hits that.
Little telephone pole?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Everyone hits that.
I would do that.
Yeah, that's cool. Wait, this is 2006?
Yeah.
So Tyson was playing for Dallas.
I don't know where he was at.
And I think, that's my guess, because they won.
It might have been New Orleans.
Wait, when they win? Oh, they won. Wait, when did Dallas win? Wasn't it 06? No, I'm tripping. No, it wasn't 06.
I think he played for New Orleans back then.
I think it was for New Orleans. Chris Paul, yeah. So LO 2006, still with the Lakers?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool as hell.
But, like, I didn't realize how fortunate. I didn't even think about that story till right now. Like,
that's cool.
Because it was one summer for, like, 2 months. And that was it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen those guys since.
Right.
But, like, the impact guys, like, I still talk to KO. I still, like, those are guys that I actually still have a relationship with.
For sure. No, for sure. It's just you dropped those names. I was like, wait, we gotta. There's more to this. You know what I'm saying? I'm always trying to like peel some layers back. All right. Heading towards the end here.
Damn, already?
Yeah, heading towards the end here. I won't give away. I don't know like if this is whatever. You told me that you had an opportunity to start coaching for a particular NBA team last year. You turned it down. You say you're not done yet.
Yep.
Have you considered what your next steps are when you're done? Like, do you want to do coaching? Do you not want to do coaching?
It's very intriguing. I had a conversation with someone a few weeks back about getting into the coaching side of things. It's very intriguing. I used to say no.
Okay.
I used to be like no, but now it's intriguing. I can't lie.
Why? What are your reservations?
I don't know how the NBA works entirely because I don't know if I can coach high school.
Okay.
Because high school, no offense to anybody, I don't know how much I can deal with overbearing parents, and that at some schools is an issue.
For sure.
So absolutely. I don't know how I would deal with that. The college level, I don't know if I can go recruit because that's such a big part of it.
Yeah.
You have to go to and convince a kid, kind of sometimes lie to him, hey, we really need you, but that kid might be number 2 on your list. You really want somebody else, but you really need number 2.
Right.
So, like, I don't know if I can do that. And then the NBA, I just don't know enough.
Okay.
Like, I've been around it training.
Right.
I've been around it. I've been to games. I don't know the inner workings of it the same way that I've been around a college program, that I've been around a high school program.
The day-to-day.
Because I lived it. I was at a college program for 4 years.
Right.
So I saw the recruiting. I hosted kids on official visits. Like, those are things that I factually know, where the other one is, it's just a bit of unknown. So it's just, that's where the trepidation comes from.
Okay. It's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. It's just, I need more. I just need to know more before I can truly say, yeah, I want to get into this.
Yeah, of course. But you have essentially, I'm not gonna try and name names or anything, but you essentially have a position for you, or in theory, you have someone that's looking to take you under their wing and take you in. So you have you have an opportunity. Like the point is you can be open-minded to the opportunity, and then worst case,
I go back to exactly.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where I'm at now with my family as well. Part of it is my son's going to be starting school here.
Yeah.
In LA next year, so we're thinking about that. It's crazy, man. Sorry, this is not what we're talking about.
No, it's okay.
I had to send in applications for preschools. What are we doing?
That's some adult stuff.
You just told me that that's LA. Like, I had to pay $150 deposit for a preschool.
Oh my God.
Like, non-refundable deposit for preschool?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It used to be like, oh, here's my kid.
Yeah.
Now I got to make an online application, send in a check. Like,
wow. What is that?
So that's part of it, right? Like, part of it is I don't know if I want to continue to travel that much. Now that my family's going to be more grounded, more based.
Yeah.
So that's part of it as well. I just have to kind of, if an amazing opportunity comes, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
But just kind of play out this year. And then who knows? Like, I'm not closing the door completely on.
Yeah, no,
playing.
I'm not saying you're done either, for sure.
I haven't really thought it through yet, and when those conversations organically happen, organically kind of sit down and talk it out with my family and see what's best.
For sure. If it's not coaching, is there something else that gets you excited?
Maybe something having to do with I'm big in education.
Yeah.
I can't not be after having the family that I had and going to Harvard. So that's huge for me as well. I don't want to be an in-classroom teacher, but maybe something with like supporting students in another way.
Yeah.
Helping students succeed in some way. So,
yeah.
But that can be multifaceted. It can be life coaching. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there's. I've seen ads for like, hey, talk to us. We'll tell you how to like apply to college.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like. Yeah. Like
that's
I do
important.
I'm not a. You can co-sign. I'm not a boastful or bragging kind of person. But like, do have kind of a atypical resume when it comes to like where I went to high school, where I went to college, what I did after college. So
right.
Following that blueprint, I think, is helpful to someone. I just don't know yet what that looks like.
Yeah, no, for sure. So okay, and worst case, you just come coach with me.
There you go. Next gen.
Next gen. We got you. All right, now time for some fun. This is always my favorite part. So we're gonna do what I call the lightning round.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you five questions, and your answers can be as short or as long as you want them to be. And all right. So first one, you have a dinner reservation for 6, and you're one of the 6. So 5 other people, dead or alive, that you would want to sit down, have dinner with, and have a good conversation with.
It's funny you changed it because it said have beers with, right?
I did. You say you don't drink, so.
I was going to say, man, have a Muse with. Shout out to the Mellow.
Shout out Muse.
5 people.
5 people, dead or alive.
Yeah. Floyd, Kobe, Jesus.
Oh, shit.
Actually, Barack Obama.
That's a great one.
That's 4, man.
It's 4.
Actually, Nipsey Hussle.
Oh, my God. What a table. Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't have, when I read the question, I didn't really think about it too much.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Like, that might be the first 3 were easy to me. And then the other 2 definitely were top of the head. Didn't even think about it till right now. So I guess that's what you wanted out of the question.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's great. That's a great table, for sure. All right. What's 1 or 2 albums you can listen to with no skips?
Jay-Z's The Black Album.
Oh, okay.
And College Dropout.
Oh, man. Yeah, 2 great ones. 2 great ones for sure. All right. This one's gonna be different too. If you could sit courtside at any game of all time, what game would it be?
Knowing what I know now, or at the time?
Knowing what you know now.
Kobe's last game.
Oh, okay.
Knowing now.
Yeah.
What happened to him.
Absolutely.
Obviously to witness that last time on a court would have been priceless.
Yeah. No, it would have been amazing. No, for sure. I would have wanted been, I think, I don't know, I mean, Kobe's 81-point game. Yeah. Definitely would have wanted been there.
On the Raptors' head, too.
Yeah.
Mo Peterson got some of those. I wonder if Patrick O'Brien was on that team.
Damn. We got to talk to this Pat, man.
What's crazy is I know exactly. I hope we can edit most of this stuff out because all he's going to say is, I do live rent-free in your head. I know exactly where this is going.
He's not wrong, but in a good way, though. If you gave him as many buckets as you say, then he probably live in his head, too. All right. I want to ask you all of these.
I got time. I'm good.
Where do you draw your strength from when things get tough?
when it comes to basketball, I draw it from the work I put in. So when I'm confident in my work, then I'm good to go.
Yeah.
If I'm uneasy about the work, or if I skip the work,
then you have a reason to not be.
Yeah. So when it comes to basketball, when it comes to life, my faith and my family. So I'm a very spiritual person. So I do pray a lot. So I draw strength when it comes to life stuff.
Yeah.
And then I lean on my family and my. I don't have a lot of friends, but I lean on my family and my close friends a lot.
Yeah.
When it comes to life.
Yeah, as you should. That's great. I'm gonna ask you more than 5.
Yeah, go for it. You're good.
If you could relive one day in your career,
Ooh.
which would it be and why?
When I signed my first pro contract.
Ooh.
Or when I won. Well, 3. Signed my first pro contract. Beat the University of Michigan at Michigan. No, they smacked us. Beat the University of Michigan at home the next year.
Okay.
They smacked us. This is the craziest story ever. I'm sorry, I'm going off.
Run it.
All right. So my sophomore year of college, the first year I really played. The year after that summer where I got better with Lamar and Tyson.
Okay.
So that's the framing of the story.
Yeah.
We go to Michigan. We have a home and home against the University of Michigan. We get smacked at Michigan. We get smacked.
Yeah.
They fire Coach Amaker. Michigan does.
Yeah. Damn.
Harvard hires Coach Amaker. Right?
Yeah.
The next year, we play Michigan, the team that fired him, at home.
Damn.
At Harvard.
Wow.
It was the first time we had an ESPN game at Harvard.
Oh, shit.
So we had an ESPN game the year after they smacked us, and they fired their coach, so it was a big storyline, right?
Yeah.
We beat them at home. I had a double-double, and so that was one I'd relive.
Yeah.
I went back to my dorm, had Papa John's pizza. So, I didn't do anything. So that was to relive something, I'd relive that kind of, because it was that crescendo of events that led to that. Or when I won
That's insane.
Yeah. Or when I won my first CIF championship, my 10th grade year.
Okay.
So that's kind of one from every grouping, right? One from high school, one from college, one from a pro.
One pro, yeah. Hold on, go back to the Harvard one, because that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
What was Coach's? What did you see in Coach's preparation, or leading into the game?
We were dialed in. As a team, we were dialed in. We didn't really know what to expect because some of us had been there the year before when they smacked us.
Obviously, they're under a new coach, so probably a new system or whatever.
Exactly. So there were other factors now that I see the game differently. You're not in it. There are other factors at play there, but that was that crescendo to a story was nuts.
Yeah.
We go there as a sophomore, lose by 40.
Damn.
Fire the coach, and then that coach gets hired at that school.
Yeah. Damn.
And then you have an existing contract for a home and home, so we have to play Michigan again.
Yeah. Damn.
We played him and we win.
Damn.
So that was, I'm sure, Coach Amaker is the most even-keeled, intense but even-keeled person. And I'm sure when he went home, he at least smiled or he's happy.
For sure.
There was some sort of retribution there.
Yeah, absolutely. There had to be. All right. I got 2 more for you.
Sure.
Top 5. Oh, fuck, I want to ask you. No, it's okay. Top 5 favorite athletes of all time.
Floyd, Kobe. Muhammad Ali. It's 3. LeBron. 4. Shaq. 5.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, basketball heavy.
Yeah.
And then,
of course.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali for the off the court thing.
Yeah.
And then Floyd for entire body of work.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I got another one. I just thought of a new one. All right, you plus 4 others at a pickup game, whether it's at Impact. Let's say you pull up to Impact and you can pick 4 people you've ever played with in your careers. Who are you bringing? Who are the 4 you're bringing? to run pickup?
Me, Kyle Lowry, DeMarcus Cousins, Chauncey Billups.
Yeesh.
Do I need like positions, or can I just say like? Because we have a lot of bigs.
I know it's a lot of bigs.
Yeah.
Let's go by position. So you have a 1, you have a 2.
I have 2 1s. I have Kyle Lowry and Chauncey.
Yeah,
Billups.
yeah.
I'll take them.
And you got you and Boogie.
I guess I'll stand in the corner.
Yeah.
And I'll let DeMarcus work.
Yeah.
And then for a 5th, I'll take Kylo Quinn, face up jumper.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll stand in the corner. I'll play the 3, defend it.
It's a long team.
Actually, yeah. KO's my guy, so I can't take him off the list. Those 5.
Yeah. All right.
I would have thrown in Rudy Gay. I think he would have been a better fit.
Oh, yeah.
But
it's all right.
KO's my guy.
Yeah.
KO, you're on the team. You heard?
You heard? You got the spot. That's cool. All right. Last one. I want to have more. Obviously, I want to be able to give people a platform to, highlight themselves, share stories, relatable stories to build a community. And I want to get more hoopers. It could be anybody, obviously, but I want to get more hoopers, particularly on here. So, do you think any hoopers? Can you think of any hoopers that would want to pull up and be a guest, sit in that chair?
In LA?
It doesn't have to be in LA, but I mean, it would have to be in LA.
I think my teammate Bryce Taylor has a really good story to tell. He played in Germany for 9-10 years, got a German citizenship. Now coaching in the NBA. I think he has a really good story to tell.
Which team is he at? He's with the Pacers, like you said. Okay.
My other teammate, Zach Woolridge, amazing story to tell. Funny, man. Those 2 guys made varsity my 9th grade year, and I got cut.
Damn.
I didn't get cut. Shout out to Coach Hilliard, man. I didn't get cut, but they were like, Evan, you should develop on the freshman team.
Got it.
Then I walked in and started starting as a 10th grader, so I'm cool with not playing as a 9th grader.
Yeah.
But Zach has an amazing story. 4-year player at Harvard Westlake, 4-year player at Princeton. Now he worked for LAFC.
Nice.
He's doing huge things in LA right now.
Wow.
So he's a really good guy to kind of see the progression of what can happen after sport.
Cool. Is he coaching for them? Or
No. He works business side of things.
Oh wow, cool. Very cool.
He took the other direction. The corporate route, and still trains like a madman from what I see.
Yeah.
Box jumps. He actually goes to Equinox right here in West Hollywood sometimes.
Oh wow.
So he I think would be a really good guy to talk about just life.
Yeah, for sure.
His father played in the NBA.
Okay.
R.I.P. to his dad, Orlando Woolridge. So yeah, I think that's would be a good guy.
All right, let's get those 2 on here for sure.
For sure.
That'd be cool. And we got the Pacers Connect, so we got to bring him in.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
He's there. At least I know Zach for sure is in LA, which is huge.
Okay.
He's a Hollywood guy, man.
Yeah.
All around.
Big Hollywood guy. Cool. All right, dope, bro. I appreciate you pulling up, man. Thank you for sharing your story.
Problem.
And also, I want to give you your flowers again and say, like, it's been a privilege working with you. I've learned a lot working with you, and just like I said, like witnessing your work ethic, knowing how hard you work, and knowing that I can be the one that like pulls the reins back and spit some game, and on the educational side of things, like, hey, this month we're going to train like this month we're going to train like that, we have to get ready for this. I could be the one to step back and look at a macro scale while I know that you are doing such a great job of being on the front lines day to day and getting work done. So you make my life really easy in the best way.
Appreciate that,
and it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be working with you.
Just I was thinking about the other day, like I'm self-starter, very motivated, but I have the ability to write my own program. Right?
Yeah.
Like I can.
Yeah.
I just don't want to. I'd rather I didn't go to school for any of this.
Right.
I have no training experience training anyone else besides my wife and my cousin.
Yeah.
Right. I sent you videos during the pandemic. Me and my cousin were working.
Yeah.
That's it. But I really do appreciate, the like having input. Like,
yeah.
I really appreciate that. I could text you like, hey, like let's tinker with this, or I don't like this. I don't ever say I don't like this. I just do it. But like, I really do appreciate the freedom that you allow me to still be an individual within the training,
for sure.
While the structure is going towards a goal.
Yeah.
Because if it was just me, I'd lift heavy every day.
Yeah.
I'd lift every day for 7 months. And be like, all right, time to play a game now.
Yeah.
Like, all right, time to run 3 miles now.
Right.
Like, so I do appreciate the freedom while still having structure.
Yeah. No, absolutely, brother. Cool. All right, guys, that's it for this episode. You can catch us on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Hey.
Yeah, we're on YouTube, bro. We're on YouTube.
Unedited or just straight through, or you at least chop it up?
I chop it up a little bit.
Take out Pat. You're my guy, man. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus like that.
Pat, I don't know who you are, but sounds like you took a lot of buckets. I'm sorry. But anyways.
Can you say that again? I'll text him.
Yeah. That's it for this episode. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.